The police minister, Brigadier says he's shocked to hear about the death of 3 Tshwane Metro police officers in a head-on collision. They've been involved in a chase with a suspected drunk driver near Pretoria. Brigadier says while the alcohol ban has been lifted, people must behave responsibly. He's also reminded South Africans that the 10 p.m. curfew remains in place. At the same time, more than 740 people were arrested in Gauteng for various crimes this weekend. To tell us more about these arrests, we're now joined via Skype by Brigadier Mathapelo Peters from the police in Gauteng. Brigadier Peters, thank you very much for your time. First up, I've seen 2 different numbers being reported. We at ENC have been saying 740 people have been arrested. I saw another media report talking about 840. Can you just set the record straight for us? How many people did the police arrest in Gauteng this past weekend?
Yeah, Dan, thanks for that. Technically, it is over 740. But we did realize that we missed out the 100 from Tshwane, which then brings us to over 841 suspects.
Okay, so the correct official figure, no need to apologize. We just have to set the record straight, and you are better placed to do so for us and our viewers. So the official number of arrests is 840 in Gauteng, and that this earlier 740 did not include the 100 of Tshwane. So now we know it's 840. That's a lot of people. What was the major crime?
Well, indeed, this was operations conducted across all 5 districts in the province. And amongst these were suspects, over 135, that were arrested for for driving while under the influence of alcohol. And then the rest of the suspects were arrested for general crime.
Okay, general crime would include what kind of activities?
This would be your murders, assaults, your theft, robberies, and hijackings. But what was disturbing to us was the number of incidents that were related to people who were arrested for driving on the roads while under the influence of alcohol.
And the police minister reminding South Africans this morning about the curfew. Were any of the arrests after 10 o'clock at night?
Well, indeed, some of these arrests, especially on Friday night and Saturday night, some of these arrests happened just after the curfew, and this is why some of the people that were arrested were also charged with contravention of the Disaster Management Act regulations.
Did the police decide to go on this operation this past weekend because it was the first weekend since the easing of the ban on alcohol sales?
Well, then these operations, if you realize, have been in place since as far back as February. However, they have now been intensified with the relaxation of the restrictions. We do have Okaimolao that takes place every week on Thursday, but we have just intensified the weekend operations as well. So
Okaimolao, where is the law operation, will carry on, as you say. It's been on for several months, but you're going to be intensifying your efforts.
Yes, indeed, because over and above our mandate to prevent crime, we are also in support of government's efforts to make sure that there is no resurgence of infections of COVID-19.
So you're also checking people's behaviors. Hence, you're coming down hard on people on alcohol, on the alcohol sales. We saw a statement this morning from the police minister. You might be aware of it, Brigadier, or not, but he's expressing shock and sadness at the death of 3 Tshwane Metro police officers in a head-on collision with an alleged drunken driver. Are you aware of that?
Yes, indeed, because the Gauteng Provincial Commissioner, Lieutenant General Elias Mawela, also yesterday sent condolences to the families because this actually happened in the early hours of Sunday morning, where these 3 officers were in pursuit of a suspected drunken driver. So unfortunately, this ended up in a head-on collision where the 3 officers, as well as the driver of the other car, perished. But also then, if I can just be allowed this opportunity to also flag one very sad incident where on Friday evening in Ekurhuleni, rather in the early hours of Saturday morning, 2 children the bodies of 2 children were found in a shack that had caught fire, where the mother had allegedly left the children and gone to a tavern to go and drink. So the mother herself, unfortunately, was also found dead, where she had been electrocuted by illegal electrical connections. So this for us also highlights the problem of the irresponsible consumption of alcohol.
And just to recap quickly, where was this incident where the mother had gone out drinking and then came back and there was a fire and she and her 2 children passed away?
This was in Ramaphosa informal settlement in Ekurhuleni in the East Rand.
A very tragic incident indeed. Thank you very much, Brigadier Peters. Just to recap, it's a total of 840 people who have been arrested this past weekend in and around Gauteng. Thank you very much, Brigadier Peters, and warning us there that the police are going to intensify their anti-crime efforts, particularly now under the eased level 2 of lockdown, and yet again appealing to all of us to drink and behave responsibly. Do not drink and drive, and that's the law.